Yo, what's good, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, whoever is listening to this video right now? I'm gonna talk about 3 things that school does not teach you that it definitely should. Alright, thing number 1, definitely bias in scientific studies. You know how teachers are always like, don't use Wikipedia, that's not a valid source, and stuff like that. They always want you to reference scientific literature and studies. But I was watching a Pegasus YouTube video, by the way, link in the description, and he pointed out that there's this study from Tufts University. This is like a top university in the country of the United States. And they said that Cocoa Puffs had more nutritional value than whole milk. And that Cocoa Puffs had more nutritional value than like eggs that are fried in butter. That's pretty crazy because I'm pretty sure Cocoa Puffs gotta have some added sugars. And as you know, like added sugars are not what you want to be eating. Like 35 grams is like the limit for added sugars for an adult male in the US. I think it's like 26, 28, something like that for women. That's just because I remember that because I'm into nutrition, right? Anyway, so yeah, like when they say you gotta do scientific studies and not really reference Wikipedia, I mean, that's some BS, to be quite honest with you. Number 2, definitely like the fact that school doesn't really teach you about taxes or about the criminal justice system. Now, they do typically tell you like plead the fifth, all these things, the history behind everything, but I feel like there is not enough emphasis on like basic things you gotta learn. Like for instance, if you're not making that much money, typically if you don't have like income tax in your state, you don't really gotta file taxes for certain things, right? But at the same time, you might have withholding on your taxes that you're missing out on that you actually do have to file for. So taxes are a really complicated thing that they're not even that complicated, but they're made to be seen complicated by the same system that is funded by them. So it's crazy to say that it's almost like they want to keep you ignorant about some things in order to gain money from like a lot of people that are going to be ignorant about something that's kind of simple, that seems like really complicated, but it only really gets complicated when you're making a bunch of money. Number 3, on things that school is dumb about, is school teaches like a biased perspective of the world. And typically, a teacher will be biased. You know, you might have a teacher that's more like on the liberal side. You might have a teacher that's more on the like conservative side, whatever. You always kind of know the bias, but typically when you're learning things at school, it's important to know that like your teachers are going to be biased. And it's also important that you know that like, oh, if I'm in school and I feel like I'm not really learning stuff that's applicable, you got to be taking time while you're in school to be learning stuff that you believe is going to be necessary to get the job or to do whatever you want to do in the future. Like, I'm going to tell you this, like I have over like 500,000 streams on Spotify, right? But school didn't teach me pretty much anything about that. I mean, yeah, there was cool artistic stuff that I learned in school, but if you're trying to be like a computer coder in the future, etc., you might as well just start getting your certifications now while you're in school instead of just complaining about how you have to take some dumb English class, which is true because a lot of these like classes, they don't really teach you too much important stuff. They just kind of teach you nonsense or stuff that school deems safe for you to learn. So that's my take on 3 things that is dumb about school. Number 1 being that they don't really talk about bias in scientific studies, such as scientific studies that are funded by companies that essentially create products that are being studied on. So that's BS. Number 2, school doesn't really teach you about taxes and stuff like that. They keep it hard for you to be smart. They keep you ignorant of certain subjects that is advantageous to the system that you're a part of. Number 3, that would be that they teach you a lot of nonsense that won't actually be applicable to your future, and they teach you things that they would be deeming as safe. So yeah, 3 things that school is bad about. Peace.